According to Mark Twain, one can live 2 months on a good compliment. Hello, my name is Letitia Foster, and I am with Professor Worsham's Business Communication class. Today, my partners Valentino and Felicia, as well as myself, will be discussing how to accept praise as well as how not to accept praise. Knowing the difference can be very vital in the workplace for the employee as well as the employer. Praise, in fact, takes little to no effort, yet it is not always given or received properly. Within this presentation, we will demonstrate how to give and receive praise and its importance with consideration to how praise is to be given in the workplace. With this presentation, businesses will discover proper praise can produce more in the end for their companies. Workplace participation is vital to the operations of any business. Praise allows that business to promote profitable work habits. The importance of proper praise can be put into two simple concepts. One being positive reinforcement works better than punishment. For example, instead of reprimanding an employee for a mistake, point out what was done correctly, then aid them in what can be done differently next time. And two, proper praise can produce more profit. If people like coming to work and feel appreciated, they'll produce more for the recognition. In 2010, there was a study conducted by Harvard which determined the number one driver of opportunity was recognition and appreciation. Engaged employees produce more as well as hold company standards at a higher level. According to the research conducted by Workplace Research Foundation, engaged employees reported less sick days per year. For instance, engaged employees reported 2.69 sick days per year, and those who were not engaged reported 6.19 sick days per year. Unfortunately, 87% of employees are not engaged at work. If an employer was able to ensure their employees were engaged, their workforce would outperform its peers by 147% in earnings. Now let's look at how to give praise. Simply put, proper praise means to just do it. If recognition is given close to the employee's behavior, it will be repeated. Praise should also be given immediately. Do not let time pass. When given praise immediately, your employee will feel valued and appreciated. Also, give praise often. It not only shows the employee recognition, it also lets the employee know that their work habits are being monitored. If you express what is important, the focus will always be on your message. Use this opportunity of praise to implement company standards. And lastly, when giving praise, be specific and sincere. Recognize what the employee has done specifically to make them feel valued. Also, praise given spontaneously is perceived to be sincere. Keep in mind, most are prepared for insults, but compliments leave us baffled. Now here's Valentino. He will discuss how to recognize praise.
Showing gratitude is one of the simplest, yes, yet most powerful things humans can do for each other. Dr. Rani Posh. But why do people give gratitude? Why do people give praise? Well, in the professional world, people show gratitude and give praise to acknowledge a job well done. They do it to recognize the extra time and extra effort that's put into your work. But how do you respond when somebody gives you praise? What is the most professional way to respond without sending the wrong message? My name is Valentino Alcaraz. And over the course of this presentation, I'm going to share with you, the viewers, how to receive praise. I'm going to share with you the three most common types of responses, how to accept praise properly, and the importance of accepting praise properly. The first type of response is rejection. Rejection is the least common of the three responses when receiving praise. Rejection occurs when the recipient refuses to accept, believe, or consider the praise that's being given to them. This type of response is the least common because many times it comes off unprofessional and sometimes even rude. An example of this would be if once given praise, the recipient responds by saying, "Not really, it could have been better," or "Really, I didn't think so." The next type of response is deflection. Deflection occurs when the recipient changes the subject or causes the subject to be changed. This is the most common type of response that people give when receiving praise. The reason why is probably because although people like to receive compliments, they like to be given praise, they don't want to sound vain, overly confident, or even conceited. An example of this would be if once given praise, the recipient responds by saying, "Really? I thought I could have done better," or "It was nothing," or "Anyone could have done it." The next type of response is acceptance. Acceptance occurs when the recipient receives and welcomes the praise. This is the most professional way to receive praise. This type of response gives a professional appearance. People who give compliments are usually being honest. They're giving you their honest opinion of your work. So when they give you their opinion, accept it. Examples of this would be if once given praise, you respond gracefully by saying, "Thank you," or "I'm glad you liked it," or "Thank you, I appreciate the compliment." So why is accepting praise properly so important? First of all, it builds confidence. Everybody likes compliments. Everybody likes to receive praise. The more compliments, the more praise you get, the more confident you become. Employers hire people because they believe that you could do the job. The more confident you are, the more you believe you can do the job. Next, when responding properly, you give a professional appearance, which is very important in today's workplace. The more professional you appear, the more people will rely on you to do a good job. Lastly, it promotes teamwork. When responding to praise properly, you're showing your coworkers, you're showing your peers, you're showing your supervisors that you value their opinion. And if people believe that you value their opinion, they're more likely to share their opinion and give you their ideas, which promotes teamwork, which will help the job get done faster and better. So what have we learned? Well, over the course of this presentation, I told you that you need to accept compliments. People give compliments when they really mean them, so accept them. Be confident enough to know that you did a good job and accept those compliments. Next, receive compliments properly. If you don't receive your compliments properly, you send the wrong message. You can actually break down your own confidence. You can break down your professional appearance, and it'll break down teamwork. Lastly, of the whole presentation, remember this. Keep it simple. Say thank you. when all said and done, you say thank you. That is the simplest way to respond when giving praise. Thank you for your time. I would like to introduce the next speaker, which is Felicia Ewing, who will be discussing how not to give praise. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Felicia, and I wanted to talk to you about the flip sides of this topic. I wanted to talk to you about how not to give and receive praise. I know what you're thinking, but Felicia, I already know how not to give praise. It's obvious. But you would be surprised how often we make this mistake, especially in the workforce. Sometimes we think we're helping a situation when in reality we're making things much worse. For instance, the obligatory praise. Sometimes we feel obligated to give someone praise. Maybe they're searching for a pat on the back or dropping a hint here and there. But in these incidences, we need to remember to not give praise. Praise is meant to be earned, and doing such by giving praise to someone who does not deserve it is undermining the whole meaning of giving praise. People won't take you as seriously because they can't trust your honesty. And in the workforce, that's pretty important. Also, remember, never avoid giving constructive criticism and how one can improve purely just because of the fear of conflict. Don't avoid telling one of your employees something that they need to improve on, because we all need to know what needs to be fixed in order to fix it. People desire feedback. The only way to improve and get more praise is by knowing what needs to be improved. As someone that speaks sarcasm fluently, I still find this next one pretty hard. But we all must remember, just because you find it funny doesn't mean it won't hurt someone else's feelings and leave everyone else feeling a little bit less of themselves. The sarcastic praise. We have all heard it, and we are all guilty of it. You know when someone does something that's kind of silly, or they do something that they didn't plan out for something else to happen to them, and someone comes back with a, "Wow, you did a great job there, buddy," with an overly sarcastic tone. Especially in the workforce, this is inappropriate. Some people don't understand sarcasm, and sometimes those things can be taken a bit more seriously, and either A, they'll believe you and believe that this is a praise when in reality you messed up, or B, they get their feelings hurt. And speaking of feelings hurt, try to avoid praise with criticism. A lot of us are more socially awkward than we care to admit. Trust me, I know. I'm the queen of social awkwardness. This is one of the main reasons why I'm even taking an online communications class. Sometimes when we're giving praise, we start to feel like we're giving too much praise, and maybe we should throw in a few pointers on how they can be even better. Then we start to feel like we are over-insulting and throw in a bit more praise. Don't do that. Instead, whether you're giving criticism or praise, commit to it. Don't try to do both at the same time. If someone deserves praise, then give it to them. And if they deserve some constructive criticism, then give that to them. Mixing the two just makes the negative overshadow the positive, leaving the whole thing feeling meaningless. The criticism also starts losing its meaning. If you're always giving praise when you're trying to give criticism, then you lose your own credibility. Again, not being taken seriously, and added to that, when people get used to hearing criticism when they're giving praise, or when they're given praise, they start to cringe at every thought. Every time praise is starting to be brought up. Another mistake is praising someone while ignoring others. As PositiveSharing.com says, if people get tons of praise while others are consistently ignored, this is highly demotivating, since it gives the praise list a feeling of unfairness and being overlooked. A classic example would be a company where the salespeople all get the praise for getting new customers, while the people working in the back office who make the sales possible are routinely ignored and taken for granted. I personally know a lot about this. I worked at a dog grooming shop for almost 4 years. It was a mom and pop shop, so the owner was working side by side with the team. There were groomers in the front, and the bathers worked in the back. The bathers never heard praise. It was always criticism. Meanwhile, all the groomers who worked side by side right next to her received more praise than they did criticism. This just builds emotional walls between the coworkers, and it stirs up unneeded drama and brings down self-esteem while others are overly assured of themselves. Give praise and criticism when it is needed and to whom deserves it. Never pick and choose. Lastly, I want to talk to you about the trivial praise. This is the praise. This praise carries a very significant amount of importance. The trivial praise is when you praise someone on things that are trivial, like in looks. When someone is working hard at their job, but all the compliments they all ever hear about is how nice they look, you're going to get yourself closer to sexual harassment suit than you are going to help any person in the situation. Giving trivial praise is demeaning and patronizing. When you're praising someone, make sure you are praising someone for something that is important and meaningful. It is important to know how not to give praise, but it is also just as important to know how not to receive praise. Just as Valentina was discussing, common mistakes in receiving praise is not giving gratitude. Gratitude, it goes a long way. Just by saying thank you or smiling and nodding your head, but most importantly saying thank you, it goes a long way. Also, accepting full praise when in a team and not sharing the credit. That is so selfish and it is not okay. When it takes an entire team to work on one project, you should share that praise amongst your team, especially when it's not you who did most of the work. Using inappropriate body language. Nothing is worse when you praise someone and they don't seem to care. They seem too aloof. He comes off as arrogant and not confident. Undermining the compliments. What I mean by this is when the receiver of the compliment comes back with, "Oh, it was nothing." Say thank you. Don't make it seem like it's not a big deal when it is. Also, compliment battles. When you compliment and when you receive a compliment and you come back with another compliment, it just sets off everything. Next thing you know it, no one knows when to stop complimenting. Just say thank you and move on. All in all, we have learned that we need to give praise and not only do it often, but do it often and be specific and sincere. We learned the 6 ways to receive praise properly. 1, share gratitude. 2, share the credit. 3, don't undermine the compliment. 4, avoid compliment battles. And 5, say thank you. Again, my name is Felicia and I thank you for your time. And remember, a compliment goes a long way.